In this video, we will look at a very common situation that very often leads to fairly predictable price moves in the related currencies. The situation we're talking about is that of central bank policy divergence. This is when we have a scenario where one major central bank is talking and behaving in a manner that could be deemed hawkish, while another major bank is behaving in a manner that will be deemed dovish, which of course is almost the polar opposite. We've already learned that to trade currencies we must pair them up, and when doing that it's almost always best to avoid currencies, or find currencies rather, that are heading in the opposite direction to give us the strongest trade. The benefit of policy divergence is that it can create a perfect medium to long-term trading outlook, as well as a short-term opportunity for day traders. This is because central bank policies don't really change that often. The time horizon for policy implementation is generally in the range of months or years, so the markets have plenty of time to trade and speculate around these positions. The opportunity to profit from policy divergence comes in two main areas. The first one is from short-term scenarios where the markets are suddenly focused on and speculating about a possible change in the policies of a central bank. To illustrate, let's look at a hypothetical example. Imagine that right now the market expectation is for the Federal Reserve, which of course is the central bank for the US, to leave their interest rates unchanged over the next few months. And at the same time, we also know that the Bank of Japan is expected to do the same. As it stands, there is no divergence between the two policies, so we don't anticipate any major trends to develop on the related pair, which in this example is dollar-yen. Now one day we're doing our daily research of the news feeds and we noticed that overnight one of the members of the Federal Reserve stated that the bank is feeling like they might have to raise rates much sooner than they originally anticipated. All of a sudden the bank in the US has taken a tiny step away from the direction of the Bank of Japan, because they are still expected to do nothing. This will almost certainly cause the market to react and speculate about how likely it is that the bank will actually follow through on the comments. In the short term, this is a great example of central bank policy divergence. There are of course many combinations of this, but the more extreme, the bigger the move will be. So if we have a situation where one bank suddenly moves towards hiking its rate, then the first thought should be to trade the currency against a currency related to a bank that is moving towards cutting its rate. It's this divergence between two banks' policies, speech and actions that gives this opportunity its name. We take advantage of this by then trading the pair that consists of the two currencies in question, selling one, buying the other in the same trade. From a longer term perspective, divergence trades can also produce some great money-making opportunities. For example, each central bank has their current policies, mandates and bias. As a trader, you should know what each of the 8 major banks are thinking and planning next, and what the market thinks about all this as well. If you don't know where the major bank stands with their monetary policy plans, then one of the first things you should do after finishing this video is go away and start researching. The question you should be able to answer is very simple. What does the market currently expect each bank to do in the next 6 months with its interest rate? There are 3 possible answers, and they are increase it, cut it, or leave it alone.